Joining us now on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline is ESPN play-by-play voice Anish Shroff. He'll call the game between Hawaii and BYU as the rivalry renews in Provo. Anish, welcome to BYU Sports Nation.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We've been trying to figure out how BYU, coming off of two blowout losses, bounces back and all of a sudden feels good against a Hawaii team that has rediscovered an offense. What do you expect from the Cougars tomorrow night in a game that is becoming more and more intriguing because of a probable freshman starter at quarterback and the fact that BYU has disappeared after that big win against Wisconsin?
Yeah, and the problems aren't just on one side of the ball. Watching BYU the last couple of weeks, you've seen the defensive players miss a ton of tackles. The defense has been gashed pretty good. Now they've faced, a couple of pretty good teams and a really good running back in Myles Gaskin, but offensively, I still think they're trying to figure out who they are. You hear so much talk about finding an identity. Hawaii has found its offensive identity going back to the run and shoot. BYU is still searching for it, and it would not surprise me one bit if we see Zach Wilson just to shake things up a little bit and give this team a little bit of a spark, because right now offensively they're stuck in a malaise, and I would expect a couple of vertical shots maybe early in that game to just try to mix things up offensively and get some explosive plays. Those have been missing not just the last 2 weeks, but really most of the season.
Anish, one of the BYU games you called in the past in 2013 was the Virginia game. We're just hoping it doesn't rain like that tomorrow. That's my first request. Is that a fair request?
Yeah,
that was incredible.
That got hairy because that almost bled over into Sunday. Had it resumed too late, that would have caused a lot of problems.
And in this matchup, BYU is an 11-point favorite from the dudes in the desert, 87% ESPN Football Power Index win percentage. Those are weird numbers to me. Do you agree or disagree with those numbers?
I'll be honest. Again, I'm not a math major. I don't know how math works. I also was told there would be no math for this interview, but no, that's voodoo mathematics. That doesn't compute for me, especially given what you've seen from both teams recently. If Cole McDonald plays, I think those numbers are overblown. I wonder if those numbers were maybe tabulated, assuming that the freshman Cordero was going to start for Hawaii. But if Cole McDonald doesn't play, I expect an explosive Hawaii offense. They can score points. So, no, I don't think it's going to be that lopsided at all.
Follow him at Anish ESPN. Anish Shroff is with us on BYU Sports Nation. What would qualify as a successful start if BYU decides to go with the true freshman Zach Wilson?
I think building off of what we saw in the final 4 minutes against Utah State, watching him, the thing that jumps out is he's poised. He doesn't panic. The one incompletion he threw was a ball that should have been caught. He can move a little bit, so he gives you that mobility, not just in the pocket, but also somebody who can, extend plays and make plays with his feet. I think he's just a little bit more dynamic in terms of the total package. Now, he doesn't have the experience, so you maybe worry about an early turnover or so, but BYU's been pretty conservative offensively. But I think if he can, successfully show that he can move the ball and get the ball to open receivers and, use the running game a little bit and make some plays with his feet, just kind of give the offense a spark. I think if you see a couple of big plays, 15, 20-yard gains where Wilson's responsible, I think that would give this offense the spark it needs.
Hawaii is 6-1, big underdog. They received 1 vote in the AP poll. I know they haven't played a Power 5, and they barely beat now 0-5 San Jose State on the road. But it's interesting to see that they just have no respect. No one takes them seriously, probably because of the schedule. What do you think?
I think the schedule has everything to do with it. When you look at who they've beaten. Colorado State at the beginning of the season was an impressive win. Nobody thought they would win that game. They lose to Army, and Oklahoma almost lost to Army as well. It's different playing against an option team. And Wyoming, I had Wyoming in week 0. I thought Wyoming had a really good defense, and I thought Wyoming would be better than they've been this year. And to win that game with a backup quarterback making his first career start, I think is impressive. So I think this team is better than maybe the pundits are saying. Only getting 1 AP vote this week, I was a little surprised. They have rediscovered the identity of this program, which was run and shoot. Timmy Chang, Colt Brennan from a decade ago. They've gone back there, and it's been immensely successful. And they spread you out. They're going to force BYU to tackle in space, and they got a 5'11", 250-pound sledgehammer of a running back in Fatua, and so Farutu, sorry. And they're gonna, you're gonna have to tackle that kid. And they got 4 really good wide receivers, including one of the best ones in the country in Ursua. So, to me, the pieces are there. And then you've got a trigger man who makes a lot of really good decisions and gets rid of the ball quickly in Cole McDonald. So, defensively, can they stop really good teams? I don't know, but offensively, you're gonna have to score with them to beat them.
Anish Shroff, ESPN play-by-play man, will call BYU and Hawaii tomorrow night, 10:15 Eastern, 8:15 Mountain, live on ESPN2. I'm pretty sure that no play-by-play announcer will encounter a more difficult pronunciation guide combined between Hawaii and BYU.
Seriously.
How
are you feeling going into the game?
I have been practicing for the last 4 days. I just keep going back and forth. The one advantage I have is my wife actually lived in Hawaii for about a year and a half. So
nice.
She's really good with the Polynesian pronouncers. And what I found, a lot of times when I kind of write it out, I'll write out the hard names phonetically on my cheat sheet. So when I make a reference of it, but if you sort of understand how each of the vowels and the diphthongs or whatever you want to call them, how they sound, sometimes I think you actually make it more complicated when you spell it out phonetically versus just the normal spelling. Sometimes you get caught up in, wow, this is such a big name, but then you kind of work through it, and then it's the same sounds for the letters. So I'm getting more comfortable with that. And she's been a big help over the years when I've had a Hawaii or a BYU to kind of help me through these names. No, that's U is ooh. Okay, all right, I got that. So it's a process, but usually you get maybe one of these teams. Rarely do you get both of them. So that has been the hardest part of prepping this game. I won't lie, and I apologize in advance if I mess up one or two names.
Hey, no one's going to be able to one-up you after this, man. You've put in the work, and we look forward to the call, and we certainly appreciate the time amidst your busy schedule. Thanks so much, Anish.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Anish Shroff on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, your values, your timeline, your financial future.